The Super 10 of North America Big Game has quickly become the most popular award within the Grand Slam Club Ovis family of SlamQuest, and rightfully so. To accomplish the Super 10, one must do a lot of big game hunting in many different parts of North America. Furthermore, one must hunt not only the mountain species, but the broad range of antlered game and, yes, the big predators as well. It was a 46-year journey from start to finish for William Baxter of Tennessee to achieve his Super 10 milestone. One of William's earliest trophies was an Alaska brown bear from Kodiak Island taken back in 1974. In 2003, William took a Canada moose in British Columbia, and he went back to BC in 2012 to get his mountain caribou. William completed his Super 10 in 2020 with a cougar from Wyoming. Gary English of South Dakota is up next for Super 10 recognition, and will begin with his home state pronghorn taken in 2018. 2020 was a busy year for Gary. In February, he connected on a South Dakota bison, and in September, he made his way to Kodiak Island, Alaska to chase mountain goats. In December 2020, Gary took a mountain lion in Wyoming to finish up his Super 10. We're pleased to recognize longtime GSCO supporter Montana Stuart Farnsworth of Monarch Taxidermy for completing his Super 10. You saw Stuart with his first big game trophy, a Columbia black-tailed deer from California taken in 1988. Stuart drew a home state Rocky Mountain Bighorn tag in 2019 and took a tremendous ram. His Montana cougar also came in 2019, and he finished his Super 10 in 2021 with a mountain goat from BC. Louisiana's Alan Gibson completed his Super 10 milestone in January 2021 with a mountain lion in Montana. Backing up, you see Alan with one of his earlier trophies, a Rocky Mountain elk from Arizona taken in 1999. Moving closer to the present, Alan traveled to Maine in 2018 to get his Canada moose, and will finish up tonight's presentation with Alan's woodland caribou from Newfoundland taken in 2019. It was a desert bighorn from Sonora, Mexico that got Brandon Goodwin of Illinois to the Super 10. He took that great ram in February 2021. Brandon took a Central Canadian barren ground caribou in 2012, and in 2014 he connected on a great coos steer in Sonora. Finally, you see Brandon's muskox from Nunavut taken in August 2015. Next, we call Marcus Gores of Oregon to the stage to receive his Super 10 milestone. The first trophy to highlight Marcus's Super 10 is his black bear from British Columbia taken in 2017. In 2019, Marcus took a barren ground caribou in Alaska on a self-guided hunt. He went back to Alaska the following year, then took a Dall sheep, and Marcus achieved his Super 10 in 2020 with a bison from Sonora, Mexico.
Utah's William Jensen is up next for Super 10 recognition, and we will begin with his mule deer from Alberta taken in 2010. Moving along, William connected on a grizzly bear on a hunt in Alaska in 2014, and in 2017 he traveled down to Sonora, Mexico and scored on a fine coos deer. Finally, you see William with his Thule elk from California, which he got in November 2018.
It was a Canada moose from Newfoundland taken in 2019 that earned Jeffrey Jewett of Pennsylvania the Super 10. Jeffrey did a lot of hunting in 2018 as he made his way towards an eventual Super 10. In October of that year, he took a bison and antelope in Wyoming. And a couple of months later, Jeffrey hunted cougar in Montana and connected on a fine cat. Like many others, Dan Krause of Wisconsin achieved his Super 10 milestone with a muskox. That bull from NWT came in March of 2020. Backing up, you see Dan's Alaska brown bear taken in 2005. Two more Alaska trophies from Dan's list include his Sitka black-tailed deer and his American mountain goat from Kodiak Island taken in 2018. We're pleased to recognize George Lawrence III for documenting the first Super 10 with a 30-30 lever-action rifle. George has actually completed 3 separate Super Slams by 3 different methods, including rifle, bow, and muzzle loader, but tonight we're recognizing him for a Super 10 with a lever action. You've been seeing some of George's trophies on the screen. They include his Stone Chief from BC, a pair of American mountain goats from Kodiak Island, Alaska, a muskox from Greenland taken in 2018, and we'll finish up with George's Roosevelt elk from Oregon, also taken in 2018. Next, we come to a special pair of Super 10 holders, husband and wife, Bryan and Stefani LeBlanc of California. Bryan LeBlanc is up first, and he achieved his Super 10 in August 2018 with the Doll sheep from Alaska that you see here. In 2017, he traveled to Idaho to get a cougar, and the following year, Bryan was in Idaho once again, only this time for mule deer, and got a fine buck there. Finally, Bryan hunted Alaska brown bears on Kodiak Island, Alaska in May 2019 and scored with this fine boar. Well, not to be outdone, Stefani LeBlanc completed her Super 10 with a fine Alaska Yukon moose in September 2020. Backing up, you see Stefani with her Idaho mountain lion taken in 2018. Her Alaska Doll sheep came in August 2019, and in November 2019, she traveled to Nevada and connected on a great Rocky Mountain elk to round out tonight's presentation. That completes Group 1. And now for our next group. It was a bison from Idaho taken in November 2021 that got John Lee of North Carolina to the Super 10 milestone. John did a multi-species hunt in NWT back in 2018 where he was able to take both a Canada moose as well as a mountain caribou. We'll finish up John's presentation by showing his stone sheep from British Columbia taken in September 2019. Longtime GSEO supporter and outfitter Donald C. Martin of California does a lot of guiding for clients each year, but still manages to do some hunting for himself. You've been seeing some of his North American trophies, and they include a velvet mule deer from 2008 and an American mountain goat taken in 2015. Donald arrowed a Montana pronghorn in 2018, and he finished his Super 10 in January 2020 with a great Colorado bison. Next, we'd like to call Greg Muffler of Illinois to the stage to receive his Super 10. First up for Greg is his Rocky Mountain elk from New Mexico, taken in 2015. Next, you see Greg's coon steer from Sonora, Mexico, taken in 2019. He reached number 10 on the list in September 2021 while on a hunt in the Yukon. There, Greg took both a barren ground caribou and a Doll sheep to finish off his Super 10 milestone. Anthony Gus Osterkamp of California is up next for Super 10 recognition, and we'll start with his Rocky Mountain Bighorn taken in 2006. The following year, Gus added a bison to his growing Super 10 list, and in 2017, he got an impressive Rocky Mountain elk in Arizona. Finally, we want to show Gus's great pronghorn, which he took in October 2017. Next, we call Mike Passaglia of California to the stage to receive his Super 10. Mike traveled to Nunavut in 2017, where he took a Central Canadian barren ground caribou. Mike has all 3 North American elk, and his Thule taken in July 2020 is quite impressive. Mike traveled to NWT in September 2021 to get an Alaska Yukon moose, and that same month he took a polar bear in Nunavut. Missouri's Frank REBHOLZ III is up next, and he achieved his Super 10 in September 2019 with a Fannin ram from the Yukon. Frank traveled to Greenland in 2017 and arrowed a muskox, and the following year he connected on a mountain goat in British Columbia. We finish up Frank's Super 10 presentation with the Nebraska whitetail he arrowed in November 2019. Let's now recognize Iowa's Dennis Schemmel for completing the Super 10 in January 2020 with a Colorado mountain lion. The Roosevelt elk is up next for Dennis, and he took that great bull in Northern California in 2017. That same year, Dennis hunted woodland caribou in Newfoundland and scored on a fine bull there. And we'll finish up by showing you the Columbia black-tailed deer Dennis got on a hunt in Oregon in 2018. Well, now we have an interesting situation, but just bear with us. We now call Michael Schultz of Texas and Michael Schultz of Wisconsin to the stage to receive their Super 10s. It was Montana bison taken in October 2020 that earned Michael Schultz of Texas the Super 10 milestone. Backing up, Michael hunted grizzly bears in Alaska's Brooks Range in 2010, and in 2011, he took an impressive mule deer while hunting in Colorado. Finally, you see Michael with his great Canada moose from British Columbia, taken back in 2017. Well, next up is Michael Schultz of Wisconsin. Back in 2005, Michael scored on a fine Quebec Labrador caribou in Quebec. Later that same year, he hunted Sitka black-tailed deer in Alaska and took a buck there. Moving closer to the present, Michael traveled to Greenland in 2018 for his muskox, and he achieved the Super 10 in October 2019 with a pronghorn antelope in Wyoming. We now call Bob Ray of Virginia to the stage to receive his Super 10, and will begin his presentation with the mountain caribou he took in NWT back in 2009. Bob took a Shiras moose in southern Alberta in 2016, and in 2019 he traveled to British Columbia, where he connected on a black bear. So the stage was set, and in December 2020, Bob took a bison in Colorado to finish his Super 10 milestone. This concludes our Super 10 awards for the evening. Now, one more time, let's give all these Super 10 recipients a big round of applause.